Hi, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about the number type. We will learn two basic things. First, how to create a variable and how to assign a value to it. And secondly, what operations can be performed with the number type. So let's start with the basics. The first thing that we will learn is how to declare a variable. For this, JavaScript has a special word called let. For example, to declare a variable called x, we need to write let and then x. It's better to add a semicolon at the end. We already discussed why in our previous video. Okay, good. But at the moment, we don't have anything in the variable x, right? So how do we assign a value to it? Let's say we want to assign the number 5 to it. It's very easy. In JavaScript, there are two ways to do it. The first one is to declare a variable and then to add some value to it. For that, we need to write the name of the variable without let, since it's already declared. And then we have to write the equal sign and then our value, 5, as we said. So the equal sign says, assign the value on the right to the variable on the left. In other words, we assign 5 to x. And the second way is to add the value to the variable on the right when it's being declared. So that is, let x equals 5. Both ways are correct. You are free to choose whichever is more suitable for your specific situation. And by the way, when you assign an initial value to a variable, it's called initialization. So now, let's take a look at how this works in practice. Just as with HTML and CSS, to work with JavaScript, we're going to use a browser, or rather, one of its components called the console. And when working with CSS, we use the web inspector, which allowed us to change something on the page without changing the file. This way, we customize the page before making changes in the file. Well, the console is also like a customizer, but for JavaScript. With the help of the console, we can check the result of the changes we make. So more specifically, let's see what I mean. The first thing we need to do is find the console, which is not hard to do. It's the tab next to our HTML element. It's called the console. Right here. Let's open the file and create the variable x with the number 5. To do this, we write let x equals 5 semicolon. Okay, done. So what do we do next here? So let's output something in the console. In other words, let's display something in it. And to display, for example, the value of our x, we need to write the following command: console.log x. And is going to find the variable x, take its value, and display it in the console. Okay, save and refresh the page. And as you can see, the number 5 appeared in the console. Also in console.log, we can write the number directly, without a variable. For example, the number 10. And that's also going to be displayed. But the point of variables is that you can change their values, just like you can put in and take out goods from a basket. So the console.log is going to display the value of the variable. Let's try to assign the value 3.14 to our variable x. It's all the same. We just write x equals 3.14. And we don't need to write the word let, since the variable was already declared. And once again, let's display the value of the variable x in the console. Save and refresh. And we see two rows. That means that console.log displayed 5 in the first one and then 3.14 in the second one. Next, let's change 3.14 to minus 3.14. Let's check it out. And everything works as intended. As you can see, a variable of the number type includes all types of numbers. It could be integers, fractions, negative numbers, and so on. Basically any number. By the way, it doesn't matter if we have or don't have spaces after the equal sign. Just as with HTML, JavaScript deletes the unnecessary spaces. It just ignores them. That's why entries like x equals minus 3.14, like here, and x equals the same thing, but with lots of spaces, they are completely the same. However, there are recommendations concerning the style, the format of the writing here. And you can read about that by following the link that you see here on the screen. Okay, good. The second thing that we will learn is what operations can be performed with the number type. Most of these you already know from your early school years. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Nothing new here. So let's try these operations with some real examples here. First, let's create a new variable. By the way, in real coding, it's highly recommended to name variables so that it's clear what they contain. For example, a variable named age is going to contain the number of someone's age, and a variable called height is going to contain the height value, and so on. Only for training purposes in this lesson, we will name our variable y, but please remember that it's better to call a variable with a self-explanatory name. So let's write let y equals 3 plus 10. And now, let's display the value of the variable y in the console. For that, we need to write console.log y. Then save and refresh. As we can see, we have 13 on the screen. That is, 3 plus 10 equals 13. So everything's right. And now, let's try to write 5 minus 2. As a result, we see the number 3 in the console this time. And if we write 5 times 2, we'll get 10. And if we write 5 divided by 2, we'll get 2.5. So everything makes sense here. The only operator that you will probably be new to is the remainder operator, also known as the modulus operator. This one's also really easy. You just need to understand how it works. The remainder operator, it calculates the remainder of dividing a number by another number. For example, the remainder after dividing 5 by 2 is 1. Why? Well, because 5 is 2 plus 2 plus 1. So how does this work more precisely? Take the number on the right side of the remainder sign and try to add it as many times as we can without going over the number on the left. We can add 2 twice. 2 plus 2 equals 4. And if we add it one more time, we will get 6, which is more than 5, right? That's why we just add a remainder, which is 1. So 2 plus 2 plus 1 equals 5. So pretty straightforward, right? Let's consider another example. Let's find the remainder of 11 divided by 3. What are we going to get? We are going to get 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9. And 2 as the remainder. So 2 is what we're going to get with this operation here. Let's consider yet another example. The remainder of 9 divided by 3. What are we going to get? Well, 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9. Exactly. so there is no remainder here. The remainder is 0. Pretty simple. Okay, so now we have a general idea of how numbers work in JavaScript. Soon you will learn a lot more about numbers. So that's it for this lesson, and see you in the next one.